Well, hello there.
Hello, everyone, friends, family, knitting and crocheting and fiber artists everywhere.
Yes, and welcome to Needles at the Ready. I'm Kevin.
I'm Ray.
This is episode 112 of our YouTube channel where we talk about knitting and crocheting and yarn dyeing, and we're currently moisturizing our hands.
We are. It's very important to stay moisturized and hydrated, so here is your lesson for the day, or your reminder to be good to your bodies.
All right, great job. So,
our current product that we are using.
We've shown this before.
Yeah,
it's our
favorite.
faves. This is, that's going to take a little getting used to.
Sure is.
This is from Long Island Livestock Company. This is their Shepherd's Body Butter in the honey almond, which I love.
I do too.
All right. So, we have a bunch to talk about today.
We do have a lot to talk about today.
We have, sugar shaker. That's fine.
What? You know, it took us a while to kind of get prepared for today, and we're still not prepared.
No, I left my notebook downstairs on the dining room table. That's okay.
That's okay.
Hopefully I remember everything. So we have combined, we have 3 FOs.
We do?
And we probably have at least 10 whips between the two of us. If not more, we have some yarn dyeing to show. And so we're just...
Yeah, lots of things. Crochet today.
Yarn dyeing today.
Yeah. Some chitty
bang bang.
Chattery. I don't know.
So we hope that you guys had a great 2 weeks. We did.
We did.
Yeah.
Are you questioning that?
Yeah, I mean, they were good 2 weeks.
They were.
So we'll jump into admin stuff. The only thing we currently have going on is our Clockwork KAL.
Yes.
Or KAL.
KAL.
Because there's no crochet version. Although I think somebody was attempting.
Somebody was, so we'll certainly can say Mal.
Yeah. So that is a pattern by Stephen West. We started that at the time change in April or March. March, maybe? And it's going to run until the 20th of June.
Yes. So we, like, it's been, again, we keep saying this, but it's been so incredible seeing everybody's versions. The brioche version is definitely making a... what's the word I'm looking for? Making a stand? I don't know. We've seen an increased number of the brioche version, which is really cool. It makes me really want to do one, but I have too many things, so I can't do that right now.
Yeah, there are too many things.
Yeah, maybe next year. If this was successful, that would be fun to do a clockwork every year. Or is that too much?
That might be a little much.
Okay. Well,
So
that's that. That's on Ravelry and Instagram. So if you head on over to our Ravelry page, there is a chatter thread and an FO thread there. You can put in your clockwork or just have a little chat on the chatter thread. And then on Instagram, it is hashtag NATR Clockwork. And people have been sharing that. So go ahead and follow that hashtag if you want some inspiration or see what everybody else has been up to. It's been really, really cool looking at that.
Yeah.
I think we have one more episode. Probably 1 to 2 more episodes before we pull winners.
Probably 2 because the next one's the 8th.
Yeah.
And then 1 more after that.
No, I think that might be the last one. The 8th
one.
might be the last one.
All right. And then that's really all the admin stuff, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And then, so now let's talk about what we've done over the last 2 weeks. So it's been like uneventful, but kind of. We've done some stuff. So after last episode, we decided to go out to lunch. Yep. And then in the next town over in Milford, there was a Mother's Day weekend craft market. And we've gone a couple times. I don't think we did last year. So we decided to head over there. Funny thing is, the only thing we purchased were cookies.
Yeah. Surprise.
A really small, local bakery.
Yeah.
We've purchased stuff from them before, and their desserts are delicious. So we got some from them.
It's called the Drunken Alpaca. I believe they're out of Shelton or Ansonia, something like that.
I believe Shelton.
And they're usually at a lot of these fairs and local fairs and stuff. Their cookies were fantastic.
They were delicious.
Yep, they have pies and cakes and all those fun things. So it's always nice to see them. And then, of course, to partake in the deliciousness.
Yeah, and then And then the only other thing really that we did is we...
Well, you may notice a change.
Oh.
I decided when I was trimming my beard last Saturday that I would just shave it off because it'll grow back. And this is my summer look. So I'm sure I'll have a ton of opinions from you all, but that's okay. I can take it. I'm going to let the summer look hang out for a little while, and then, we'll probably grow it back. But we'll see. But so just, to address the elephant in the room.
Good.
Because I know you were all dying to hear about it.
We were.
I did not do anything fancy, like where I can make, designs in my face before shaving it off. I just shaved it all off. Cute. It would have been, but I didn't do it.
And then the only other thing we did is yesterday. Mm-hmm. We spent our entire day.
We did.
We getting tattoos. We went with your brother.
Mm-hmm.
And the three of us got tattoos, and we were there from 12 until 6.
Yeah, it was really nice. The guy, the tattoo artist, his name is George. He's really, really great. We went to Forest to Shore, which is a tattoo parlor in this area. He's very well known for tattooing so many different people in so many different venues, but we're lucky enough that he's here in our home city. Very, very nice guy. He did 2 of my other tattoos. This was your first one.
It was my first one, and it was not as bad as I thought. It wasn't bad, actually.
No.
It wasn't... I think I thought it was going to be very painful, and it totally wasn't. It was fine. Really easy to just sit there. It took about an hour.
Each tattoo was about an hour. My brother's was a little bit longer than that, maybe double that amount of time. Yeah. He had a photo realistic tattoo of him and his daughter, which was really, really sweet. So that took some time, but yeah, we spent the whole day. We booked him for the whole day. It was the 3 of us. Like you said, we were there from 12 to about 6.
Yeah, and then we went out for wings and drinks afterwards.
Yeah. So they're still covered.
Yeah.
But
how are we going to show these?
Pretty good. I was going to stand up. Or
yeah.
So
we're going to have
this is these are our tattoos. We got them in tribute for our little guy Tarquin. Obviously, for those of you who have been here for a while, you know that we're huge Harry Potter fans. And when Tarquin passed, because we are huge Harry Potter fans, a lot of us, there's a spot in the books and the movies where they hold their wands up in dedication to a fallen friend. And so we wanted to we were thinking originally of doing a Patronus. So this is a combination of the Patronus and the wands up for Tarquin. So yeah, so we each have the same tattoo, but we have different wands. This one is a unique design. It was based off of Hermione's wand, but George took some, and I decided to take some creative license. So he kind of created our own little version of that, which is super cool.
And then mine is Neville Longbottom's.
Yeah.
One. I was going to do Ginny Weasley's, but then it looked a little inappropriate. So I decided to nix that idea and went with Neville's. Something that was a little, I actually wanted something that was just a little simple, and then had a little ornate around the base handle of the wand. Yeah. The handle of it. Yeah. So it went very well, and we'll get to remove this covering later on this evening.
Yeah. Super fun.
So that's really been it for
congratulations.
2 weeks.
I got Kevin's first experience on video. The first time he went in, which was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good times.
I would totally do it again.
Great. See, that's what happens. You get one, you want more.
All right, so we'll jump into some knitting.
Great.
I have 2 FOs.
Okay, I only have the 1.
And I think I have 5 whips or something like that. So let's start with this FO. So we both finished our Albert's The Crochet Bear by Airwool on Ravelry. So this is crocheted.
So cute.
These are going to be gifts for our niece and nephew. Their first birthday was just a couple days ago, but their party's not until the 8th.
Yes.
So we wanted to get these done. They're cute.
They're very cute. So your eyes are bigger. Oh, you did the black for the eyebrows. I did the white.
Yeah, I did black for eyebrows. Oh. And then, so I used mandala yarn in the colorway Serpent. This is what I have left. Again, I said this last time, I really didn't enjoy working with this yarn. I'm not accustomed to working with acrylic. Mm-hmm. It is very soft, I will say, and it's got a nice little fuzz to it. And it could be, so it actually could be the hook. So this was something interesting I saw on Instagram, I want to say. I think Instagram. Earlier this week, or even late last week, is Kristen from Woolens had talked about her crocheting, and she was crocheting with, I want to say it was like a cotton yarn or something like that, and it just wasn't a pleasant experience because she was using a metal crochet hook. She switched to a wood one and said it was a much more pleasant experience. And I've never thought about that, but the same thing kind of can be said about knitting sometimes with a really slick yarn. A wood needle works really well so that it doesn't slip off. It makes it a little bit easier to work with. So I don't know. I think that maybe if I were to do this again with this same yarn, I would try a wood needle just to see if it was a better
hook.
Hook, I'm sorry.
No, it's
better
okay.
Hook. Because I felt like I was fighting the yarn with this. It wasn't as smooth as, let's say, the blanket that I've been working on.
Some of the comments that we had gotten as well about mandala, some people had a similar experience. Wasn't super enjoyable to work with. Yeah. But the results are really sweet.
Yeah, it's super.
Yeah.
It is. It's a very soft yarn. It just wasn't fun to work with.
Yeah. So mine is using this Willow DK Round Mountain Fibers yarn in the colorway Blue-Eyed Marchfly. It is 100% superwash merino. It's 250 yards per 100 grams. And like I said, it's on their base Willow DK. It was really, really great to work with, and I used up almost the entire skein.
Nice.
Yeah, so I just have this little bit left, which is going to be great. Even though I'm working on my DK blanket, I might be able to use this in, even though it's worsted, like I might be able to use this yarn in my blanket.
I would.
Yeah,
because
right? It's going to be so super cool. Oh, no, this is DK.
No, it's DK.
Yeah, what am I talking about?
DK.
So this is going right into my blanket. Look at that.
Super confused.
That worked out perfectly. So with this one, I love the pooling of it. And the cool thing about this pattern is that, like, you could really do whatever you want. Everyone is going to look unique. Like the facial features. This is my first time.
Your snout looks way better than mine.
Oh,
look at the shape of mine. I must have done something.
No, but that's okay. It's personality. Everyone has a different personality. Like my eyes are really beady eyes.
Yeah.
So the pattern does call for safety eyes, but because these are going to babies, and I know the whole premise for safety eyes, but there's still always a possibility that something could crack off or whatever, and the child could still swallow that. So we decided to embroider the eyes. So that's what that is. And then, you add the little eyebrows for personality. You could do any color you want. I was actually thinking about doing the snout in this color for a little while, but I'm glad that I didn't.
What'd be cute too is like you could do fringe up here for some hair.
Oh my gosh, what a cool idea.
Like even like a little bit right here in the middle. Just maybe 4 strands. Do a little hair on it.
Or crochet like loops or something like that.
Put a little bow on it.
Yeah.
Up there. So yeah. All right, so this is
super cute. I love the way that the yarn turned out.
So here's the pattern on Ravelry. I will say this pattern will take you to an Etsy shop, so you can't purchase it directly from Ravelry. There are 2 versions of the pattern, one in English and one in a different language. So just be mindful of that when you are looking at it to purchase the pattern. Just if you would like it in English, just make sure that you are purchasing the English version of this.
Yeah.
It is I don't remember how much it was. It says 443 euros, I think.
I think that's pretty...
reasonably priced.
Yeah, I think it's pretty close to like US dollars. It might be $5 US, something like that. A little over $5.
Oh, and I'm sorry, the other language it's offered in is German.
Great.
So German or English. And I thought it was a great pattern. It was written well. It was easy to understand. And it's something I feel like you could make so many of.
Yeah.
I will definitely make one. I feel like the other nieces could use one too.
Yeah.
And it's good. I think it would be a good stash buster too.
Oh, me too. I think so too. And I would absolutely love to do this again. So I used a 4mm crochet hook, a G hook. And this is the Clover Amore hooks. These are my favorite hooks. And it was a really simple process. This yarn was really great to work with. It is a superwash merino wool, so it wasn't acrylic. So I don't know how that would have been otherwise, but you can tell I'm a looser crocheter, and when we talk about our next project, you can definitely see it. So mine is definitely bigger because I am a looser crocheter, so my stitches are a lot bigger than Kevin's.
I used a D, and these are the crochet hooks, the interchangeable ones that we got from it's not New England, Northeast Woodworks.
Yes.
And works with a Z.
With a Z. We'll have that link down below.
So, and again, I really actually enjoy this set. They're super comfortable. I love the Amore as well, but I do love this set. I just don't know that this was the right hook material for this yarn. So we'll see. I may try to use this yarn on a wood hook and see
I think
if there's the difference. Yeah. And then just, if you guys haven't seen it, the way that these work, you just pull this out. You don't twist. Put it in, and safe for traveling. And we have 9 size hooks.
Yeah.
That fit in these.
Yeah. The whole set was very reasonably priced. It was about $100. And the turned wood on the bottom is so pretty and all individual. And I'll show you mine with my next project.
Or I don't know. I think it's resin, not wood. On the bottom.
There was maybe
there was an option for some wood handles, but I believe these are like a resin handle.
Oh, possibly. They're really pretty.
So that is
those are the Alberts.
And now I have another FO. What bag is that FO? Oh, it's right here. All right, so I have one more FO. I did not block these though.
That's okay. Do you need
yeah, please. The
medium ones?
Whichever ones, yeah. So this next project is living in my beautiful sister's bag. Love these. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I finished my Woolens and Nosh percolated socks. I did some shorties. And what was really nice is I used the leftover mini from my previous pair, the Penguins sock. And it actually fit it pretty well. I have a good amount. I don't even have my scale up here, but that's all right. I think last time it was about almost 50 grams or just over. So here they are, unblocked.
So good.
I just love this color. This is this is how much I have left.
Oh, that's a significant amount.
I know. It's another, I really think it's 50 grams. And this is what I have left of the mini. And this is the second pair of socks where I've used it for the heel.
Wow.
So I could totally get at least 1 to 2 more heels for socks.
It would be really cute to do
a full length?
Or no, a small pair of fingerless mitts with this. Like for Riley or something, maybe? That would be cute.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, yeah, I could totally probably do a pair for myself and do like...
Or the
yourself. Cuffs in this or binding off in this. Or maybe doing helical with this and this. But I feel like I would run out of this really early and I wouldn't be able to complete the second one. But yeah, so I do 64 stitches on a 2.25 millimeter needle, which is a US 1. I do a German twisted cast on, immediately add a color change so that I get this little line across my cuff, and I go cuff down. I did a 1x1 twisted rib for 10 rows. I knit, I think these, actually they're different on, I put them in at different spots, which was weird. But 2 to 3 rows, and then I put my marker in for my heel, continued knitting. I did 6 1/4 inches before I start my toe. And then I decrease down until I have 16 stitches on each of my needles, so a total of 32. Because I do my socks magic loop, and then I Kitchener, and then I go back, I cut in for my heel, and I do the same exact thing. This time though, because we did talk in the last episode how my socks had a lot of fabric, a lot more than I'm used to, which is odd because normally I feel like I don't have enough fabric. So instead of doing 5 rounds of straight knitting on my heel, I only did 3.
Oh.
To see what that does. But
and they fit you well?
I haven't tried them on yet.
Oh.
The other thing I'm going to do is we just recently watched a video from Summerly Knits, who is... I don't know if she designs anything else other than socks, but she designs a lot of sock patterns. And in it, she gave 5 tips for making better socks, better fitting socks. One of them was, her suggestion was getting 9 stitches per inch in your socks. So that's pretty tight, and it, for a number of reasons. One, it makes your socks stronger, so you're not as likely to wear through them. And instead of adjusting your needle size, she didn't mention, I don't think, what size needles she knits on. But she said, instead of adjusting your needle size, she really just talked about how you have to be very mindful of how you're knitting and adjusting your gauge and really knitting quite tight until it is natural for you to do that. So I do want to go back, and once these are blocked, and I'll take the other pair, I do want to measure my gauge on some of my socks that fit incredibly well.
Good idea.
And see what my gauge was there and just make some adjustments for the future. I went to Barnes & Noble the other day, maybe yesterday. I wanted to see if they had her book.
Oh, online?
No, I didn't go yesterday.
I went we were together all day yesterday.
We were booked all day. I went on Thursday. I went to Barnes & Noble to see if they had the book that she just released. So maybe that's what we could order from Amazon.
Oh, there great. Good.
So that's my second FO.
Perfect. Great job.
Thanks.
That's all of our FOs, which is great. Like, no worries.
1, 2,
got a lot of works in progress to
3,
show.
4. Yeah, I have 4 whips.
All right. I have quite a few of them, maybe 7. I might only show 5.
All right, you start.
We'll see.
I'll just sit here.
All right, I'm just gonna talk really briefly about this. I've been doing some work on my dad's sweater. I am almost done with the first sleeve. So here is the sleeve. It's like 3/4 length sleeves with a tulip, or this like fashion twist thing that we have going on here, which is really interesting. I actually think it looks like super cool the way that it's constructed. So I don't want this to fall off the needles, but it's gonna kind of do, it's gonna be difficult to see, but kind of do like its little thing over here. And it's supposed to be like super oversized for those of you who are familiar with this pattern. This is the Ivan by Veronique Avery. I am using Knit Picks Simply Wool Twisted, and it's 100% eco-friendly wool. It's in the colorway Winkle and Wanda. So the colorway is really, really nice. And And I am just at the point, so with the sleeves, the construction is you do it flat for a little while, I believe, and then you join it in the round, and then you knit in the round, and then you bind off some stitches, and then you're knitting back and forth flat to create a shoulder cap, and then it'll basically be done. The one sleeve, the first sleeve, will be done. So all I have left is to finish this guy, which I was planning on doing yesterday, but I didn't realize how long it would take. Yesterday, because I just have 5 more rows to do. And then I start knitting flat for the sleeve cap, and I think it's just like binding off in short rows at that point. It's not really that much. So then I'll start the next sleeve, and then I'll wash and block the yarn, and then seam it all together. And so there we have it.
Very cool.
Yeah, so that's the Ivan. I'm really glad that I took a long break from it, because now coming back to it, like, it's a lot easier for me to, like, feel motivated or stay motivated to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got so many other things on the needles that it's just hard to find the time.
But that one's I feel like once you finish that one, it's going to be such a relief. You know,
huge relief. Because that's by far my longest languishing whip.
For sure.
It's over 2 years old.
I don't know if it's over 2.
Yeah, we looked it up. Remember, when I started it, I found my notebook.
Oh, okay.
For when I started the Ivan, actually might be in here. I don't think.
Yeah, didn't you start transposing?
I did start transposing, but I don't know if it's here or in my other one. It might be in my other notebook, my completed notebook from 2022. Anyway, yeah, it's not in this one.
Cool beans.
Yeah, so that's really that. I'm using the recommended needles, which I believe is a US 6 and a US 7, or a 5 and a 7. It's a good process.
Let's see. They are a US 7 and a US 6. So
yep.
4.5 millimeter and a 4 millimeter.
Yep, I'm knitting the second to largest size, which I believe is for a 46 to 50 inch bust or chest. It calls for, it doesn't say it
it's like 10
here,
inches
but it's like 10
ease.
inches of positive ease. So it's definitely an oversized cardigan, and it's going to be really, really comfortable for him to wear. So a few of you have asked if I can take a picture of him in it when it's completed, so I will talk to him and see if he'd be willing to do a little modeling shoot. Right, Dad? Are you watching?
Are you talking to me this time, or
no? I'm talking to my dad. Sorry,
I just want to be sure, like when you're talking on the screen, if it's me or somebody else.
Okay. No, it's not you.
What? You might as well just go again, because I don't know how many you're going to show.
All right, nor do I. So let's see. Oh, you know what? Let's just jump right into this one. This I talked about on the last podcast that I was selected, for a test knit for Maxim Sear, Max the Knitter, the cardigan version of the single malt called the Old Fashioned, and I think I showed a picture last time. It's it's a broken seed stitch cardigan, very relaxed, no buttons or like a buttonholes or anything like that. Really nice, relaxed cardigan. And if you remember, oh shoot, do I not have the? Oh, I do, sure do. If you remember me talking about my yarn choice last time, I was waiting to get the yarn. The yarn had come in. This is a yarn that was named after me, called Ray's Branches. It's by Le Garçon. It's an Aran weight yarn, 70% BFL and 30% Masham wool. It's a non-superwash. And then there's Ray's Branches. And this is the colorway. Isn't that spectacular? Oh, it's so like rich and delicious. And I started this last weekend, I think it was, And I've just done sleeve separation and one round. Oh, how did this get tangled up here? So let me show you that now. I do not have stitch stoppers on my needles. I don't know who I am right now.
What is wrong with
I don't know. So here it is. Look at the richness of that yarn with the texture of the cardigan. Isn't that stunning? I think it's stunning.
Yeah, it's a
So
really, it's a very good brown.
Yeah. So here's the top. I'll show you from the back. Probably be a little bit easier. So that's the outside. This is the right side. Here is the neckline
with this detail down it.
Yeah. Oh. With the neckline here.
No, you had it right the first time.
I did.
Yes. This is the outside.
Oh. I don't know. I don't remember where I am, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, it kind of does. Oh yeah, there's the raglan. So it's a folded over hem with the neck. It is just super squishy and wonderful.
Yeah, it's a very
Isn't
nice.
It so nice.
Yeah, it's a great base. It's especially for being an Aran weight. It's not incredibly heavy. It doesn't feel like it's going to drag down the sweater once it's completed.
If I didn't say, it's the British Aran base that they have. So I will. I think I did pretty good for a couple of days of knitting. It's gonna go super smooth, and I'm just now going back and forth. So that's what I have there. I think this color is going to look so sophisticated on me and like rich and warm.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm super chuffed about this. And I've already gone through 2 skeins of yarn in this amount there. This is the 3rd skein that I just started. And I love doing a sweater like this with non-superwash yarn, because you could just splice it together, and it's just so squishy and wonderful. So that's
great job.
That's project number 2, which is going to probably get the majority of my focus. That and my dad's sweater, and another sweater that I'll show you in a sec. Those will be my 3 primary focuses for right now, because I'm on a time crunch for this one. I think it have to be like July, first week of July.
Yeah.
Which sounds like it's farther away, but the way that I get distracted, who the hell knows?
Okay.
Next?
Yeah, because I only have 4, so I really don't know how many you're showing. So that once you're at the point where we could go back and forth, then we'll do that.
Well, maybe I won't show these then.
Show what?
These 2.
Well, I don't know. Those
you know what? Maybe I will. So I'll be really, really quick, because I did not make anything significant on it, but I did work on them. I've been kind of all over the place. This is the mysterious podcaster's little bag that came in with this project.
Weep like a baby when I saw it for the first time.
Really, really sweet.
A year ago.
Keep looking to the left, because that's where our camera used to be. Now our camera is like up there. Top.
Yeah, but that's where what's like. That was a year ago that we saw it for the first time.
I know. I made some progress on my socks. I just like having some vanilla socks on the needles. This is the Mysterious Ray colorway from our Mysterious Podcasters box, also from Les Garçons. It's kind of close.
No, that's brown.
It's not close
This is green.
It's not close at all.
No.
This is green, and that one's brown. So I made a little bit of progress. I got to where I marked my heel. I do my socks on 9-inch circulars in 72 stitches around. I did 2x2 rib for about 20 rows. And then I wanted to do a longer leg, so I knit an 8-inch leg. This is 8 inches here. Split for my heel. Marked for my heel, and then I usually do about 7 1/4 or so inches. 6 and 3/4 inches for my foot, and then I'll do my toe. That's usually what I do. But it's just been one of those like yesterday while we were waiting and we're getting tattooed and stuff. while I was waiting for Kevin and my brother to be done, or to get done, I threw a couple rows on there, bring it to get like my haircut and stuff.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of the tattoos, we probably should have just showed the photo. Or could have.
Oh, yeah.
This is actually them without any
wrapping on it. Right
side
after.
by side. So this
Super
one is
me.
Ray, and then this one is mine.
Yep.
So yeah, that was right when he was done.
Yep. And then next, I'm sorry. And the yarn, the Mysterious Ray out of Le Garçon is in the BFL, their BFL sock.
And what was the mini that came with it so that we can be on the lookout for
Yeah,
it?
it's Emma Stone.
So it's gray.
It's gray. I lost the mini. I don't know where it is.
All right. No, that's good to know, though, because we can look for it because it could be in one of the bags for, like, the blankets.
I hope not. But yeah, we'll have to put a search out for it. You know what it is? I took the mini out of this little bag just so that I wouldn't have as much in it. Like, you know, when I was, when I took it with us to, that's what it was. I took it out of the bag when we went to Connecticut Sheep and Wool and then to Skane. Just so that I would have less to bring with me. I just figured I don't need the mini again for a little while. So I took it out thinking like, oh, I'll just put it someplace safe and I don't have to worry about it. Now I don't remember where that safe place was.
Well, it will eventually end up like your crochet hook case that ended up finding it 5 years later. Or whatever.
Yeah. And then this one is my Musselburgh hat. I knit to the point where I'm halfway, and then I will continue knitting till about 18 inches, and then I'll start my decreases. But I like this because you can sit like with the yarn on the inside now. It's like its own little bag and like knit away. This is using Ulysses in the colorway Lagoon. I forgot the brand. Oh yeah, this is the Dererum Natura. It's really, really pretty. I showed this before. It's super soft, yet not toothy. What did Mara say? Remember, she said she found a new terminology for the Colorado knitter.
Yeah, I know. We just watched it the other day, and she
found a new...
Not toothy. I don't know. Somebody before said was like that it's a little tactile. Like, it's not toothy. It's not scratchy.
No.
It feels like wool, though.
I can't remember what
it was. Like, it's so... When talking about wool, what can be really hard is that so many of us are just so accustomed to merino.
Yeah.
Because merino is, like, readily available.
Yes.
In department stores, just like sweaters. And sometimes it's hard to step away from that because it is so soft. Mm-hmm. And the other yarns that are like a BFL or whatever the case is, it's not that they're not soft. They just feel different when compared to merino. And yeah, it's not... I don't remember what she said.
I can't either.
But it was...
Mari, if you're watching, let us know what you said. I don't remember. But it was a cool phrase that was similar but different.
All right.
Okay, so I'm now down to... Wow, I'm down to 3 things to talk about.
All right, then I'll talk about something.
Look at that.
All right.
See how quick that was?
This is a new cast on. This is also for one of the twins. I'm hoping to get this done by June 8th. This is living in my Matter Root bag. And the yarn for this, I don't know what it is. I actually caked this yarn up quite a while ago. I was kind of at that spot where I wanted to just knit on something. And I thought these two yarns would look great together. And I started casting on a shawl, literally not following a pattern. And then I was like, wait a second. What I'm doing right now is very similar to the start of a Vertices Unite. And that's not what I was going for. So I stopped, and then it's just been sitting on my Roscog downstairs, waiting to see what it was going to be. And then when I decided to cast this on, I was like, oh, that's what this is going to be. So I have cast on a Flax by Tin Can Knits. I'm actually using it on the app. So if you guys most people are super familiar with this. This is the flax. It is a very basic raglan, very well written, and it comes in a ton of sizes. This is actually, it's written for worsted, but hold on, I have the app here. I think the app allowed me to select DK.
It does. The app is wonderful.
And it's a free pattern. So I'm using Tin Can Knits app, and then I get to put in all my stuff, and it kind of creates my version of the pattern for like what I want to do. So I am
DK.
I did pick DK. I am doing the size for a 1 to 2 year old. I am using US 4s and US 6s. So that's a 4.5 millimeter and 4 millimeter and 3 millimeter, I think.
3.5 maybe? No, 4.5. I don't know.
So these are the two fingering weights that I'm holding together to create a DK gauge. I thought it would be super fun because, number one, the light and the dark. This really dark gray. But both of them have the brown in it. So here's where we are so far. I just got to sleeve separation. And I'm also leaving out the sleeve detail. On the pattern, there is a sleeve detail with a garter ridge going down just the center of it. To make my life easier, I decided to not do that. So I did also change my cast on. I did a tubular cast on. I have to actually take out my
waist
yarn, which was quite difficult to do because of the number of stitches here. So I should have or could have started in magic loop to make it easier for myself. Because when you're doing the tubular cast on with waist yarn, there's no give or very little give here. So it was really hard to get the number of stitches around a 16-inch needle. Or I could have started on like a 12-inch or something just to make it easy. Because there's a slight gap at my beginning of round here.
Yeah, but you'll sew that up. That's not a problem.
Like here, there's a lot. I've just been kind of going back through periodically and pulling some of the yarn along the ribbing just to even out the tension. And yeah.
I love how they're marling together. Like, honestly, it looks so cool.
Yeah, it would have been better if I had already split for sleeves and you could see. So you have some areas where it's the white is dominating the color, and then you have some areas where the gray is.
Yeah, it's super cool.
I think it's going to be a really great looking sweater. It's just such an easy pattern. It was the first sweater that either one of us knit. I think one of the other, maybe Dominic has one. I feel like we've knit this for, no, you knit it for Aisha's son.
Yeah.
Recently. So yeah, this will be probably my focus so that I could have it done for the 8th. I don't feel like it should take too much longer now that I'm at sleeve separation. I feel like it should go pretty quickly.
Yeah, I feel like I need to, because we have to do 2 of them.
You don't have to do it. You have your test knit. I can probably, if I focus on this, I could probably finish this and a second one before then.
It's 2 weeks. All right.
And if I don't, then they just get the bears, and they could get these for
Christmas or something,
or like, I don't know, not Christmas, something earlier, Halloween. So that they can wear it this Christmas, this winter.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was my flax.
Great. Excellent. Let's see. The next. Let's hold off on that one because then we can talk about it together. I will show this one. I made some progress on my crocheted. Oh, I don't have to do that anymore. On my crocheted shawl. This is the Sugar Plum Shawl by RayJKnits. It is a really beautiful lacy shawl with some like shell cluster details in there. It's it's written as a one skein project, though you can make this as large or as small as you'd like, depending on however much yarn you have. In the pattern, she gives instructions to stop early. It tells you which rows to stop on. That'll still give it that finishing look. And when I was talking about this pattern last time, I was saying how I just started to learn how to read the chart, because the instructions are just were so long and difficult to read line by line. I could probably show one section of it without it being a problem, because it's a paid for pattern. So here, for example, I'm just going to do it like this. This is how the written instructions are.
Yeah.
So
that's a hard no.
It was so difficult to go line by line. And the chart was just so much easier. To read, because you're seeing it all at one time.
Do you know what the chart looks like? It looks like stadium seating.
It kind of does.
If you're picking your seats for a concert.
No, it kind of does. Right?
Yeah.
And I know that looks complicated too. I don't want to spend a lot of time showing it and zooming out and stuff, just because it is a paid for pattern. But I'm very confident and comfortable now reading the chart, and that's all that I use, and just realize that it's the same repeat over and over and over until you get to the center of the shawl. You do something, in the center of the shawl, and then you just repeat again all the way to the end, and then you do whatever you did in the beginning of that row at the end, just like in reverse. It's a mirror of each other. And boom, Bob's your uncle. So
what does that mean?
No
Bob's
idea.
Your uncle.
It's a saying. I don't know. If anybody knows, send Kevin a private message. You don't need to comment below. I'm just kidding.
You're rude.
So I am using Needles at the Ready yarn. This is a sample knit or crochet. Sorry, for us. This is Needles at the Ready in the colorway Asteroid Belt. It's on the Achilles sock base, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It's a very, very pretty base, and this has been great yarn to use for this. I
actually feel like the base
shawl
changed recently. I need to go back and look.
Really?
I actually feel like the base is plumper now.
Oh, okay. Well, the thinness of this works very well for this type of shawl. I am using my
Northeastern
Any Woodworks crochet hook in a size 4. I did notice, because I'm a looser crocheter anyway, that I get an even looser gauge with this hook. It's an inline hook, but you can see that it's not super consistent. It gets larger as it gets down, down here. And this is the same size, from here, on this section, this is the same size no matter what size hook you put on. So it can tend to, if your loops fall down here, your gauge will get a little bit looser. So it's one thing. See how consistent this is? It's the same size all the way down.
Right.
This one is not. And this is the same size hook.
Is it?
Yep. So this is this is an E hook. I'm sorry. This is a G hook. But you can see that this was This is very consistent. But this one is not. These are so much fun to work with and so comfortable to work with. It's just something to be conscious of if you get these, or for myself.
So I was actually wondering this part of a crochet hook is the gauge, this area, right? Not the head of the hook.
I mean, it's both. This should really match.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wondered how you would test a gauge. So you would put this in the, and I don't think yours is up here, your crochet gauge.
Yep.
And you'd put it in, and you're measuring this area, this circumference.
Yeah, well, where your loop is going to sit, just like a knitting needle, that keeps that loop at that size while you manipulate to it, so that stitch stays the same.
Gotcha.
Should stay the same size. All right. Well, so without further ado, here's where I am currently. So it is, I think it's so pretty. So I did make some significant progress. I was here last time.
Oh, wow.
So, and you crochet, so this way. So I did, can you lift this up a little bit more? No? Okay. I'll do it. From there to here, is what I did last time.
I see. Okay. From there to here. Gotcha.
Yes. And it just repeats itself. And it's super, I think that it's just really pretty. I have a lot of yarn still left over. The pattern calls, it usually you're repeating this section basically a whole nother time. Mm-hmm. Like from about here, I'm going to repeat this one more time.
Okay.
And that's what the pattern calls for. But if I have any yarn left over, I will continue the pattern until I'm at one of those rows where it says it's okay to stop.
Gotcha.
But isn't that really pretty?
Yeah, it's really, really nice. You're doing a great job with
Thanks. And then I went back to my roots. Somebody had made a comment last time, and I realized that the same time that I was reading the comments down below, that on my first, when I'm ready to put this down, on my my first loop, I put a locking stitch marker there just so I don't lose that loop. Last time I did not do that. I had put my crochet hook in there. Then when you put it in a bag, inevitably the crochet hook's going to fall out and then your loop can come out. I didn't want to have any of that be an issue because sometimes it'll be, if I lost some stitches, it might have been difficult to get back.
Gotcha.
So that's a tip if you don't already do that when you're crocheting. Put a locking stitch marker on that little loop there and you'll be good to go. But I'm so happy with this. And I really want to continue working on this. I love all of my projects that I'm working on, which makes it very difficult to find a focus.
It does.
Yeah. And then this is living in my bearded pearl bag, which is one of my all-time favorite bags. This is from their simple collection or something like that from a couple years ago. Super convenient.
All right. So next up, we'll continue the crochet train. And this project is living in my chip basket. This is one of the prototypes. I think a prototype one. No, maybe not.
I don't think it is.
No, I think this is the actual one, not the prototype. So I have, and as you guys can see, I'm going to unsnap this.
Yeah, because the snaps are the newer snaps.
This is a bunch of minis from test skeins that I dyed. So if you recall, I've decided to make these into a crochet blanket. I've already created another magic knot ball.
Oh, that's great.
I need to add some more to this, though. I forget how many skeins minis are in here, but I've been trying to make 12. And here is where I'm at so far. I think where's my stitch marker?
So
I didn't make a ton of progress. I was here last time I showed it, so I've only added 1, 2, 3, and I'm on the 4th color. So
it's such a happy blanket.
Yeah, I think this is going to be really cute once it's done. I like that I'm getting about 2.5 rows for each color. Because here you can see where the blue started. So about halfway, maybe 2 3/4 of a row. What I am, and I'm not being intentional with my colors for the most part. What I am trying to avoid is I have a ton of greens and blues. So I'm trying to avoid having more than, I think it's 2 of each in one magic knot ball. So this one, as you can see, so far we've already had 2 blues and 2 greens. So this one should be done with that. And I was pretty mindful with the other one that I'm creating just to make sure it's not super green or blue heavy in one section. But other than that, it's pretty random. I'm just grabbing skeins and putting them together.
You did a good job with your keeping track of your rows and the edges, because that's where I really struggled with a lot.
So what I did for this, and the website will be linked below. I am following a pattern that's not on Ravelry. It is on a website, that has all the extra information before we actually get to the pattern.
Yeah,
it's like
sometimes those are hard to
War and
navigate.
Peace.
I know.
Before you get to the pattern. So what I did is the initial cast on is 4 rows, but then you just repeat rows 3 and 4. So I took a screenshot of 3 and 4, saved it on my phone and my iPad in the Files app of Apple ecosystem. And then I just pull that up when I get to a row. This marker is on the side where I work row 3s. So I know that if I see this, I'm working a row 3, and then I pull that up at the beginning and end of every row.
Just to be sure.
To know what I'm doing. And now that I got that, I don't know why I never thought of doing that the first time I attempted this. Mm-hmm. Because as a new knitter, I had to do the same thing to know which one was the right side and wrong side of my rows until I learned to read my knitting.
Yeah.
So doing that here with the crochet has been super helpful. And I'm using 3.5 millimeter or an E hook. And these are the Clover Amours as well. Really interesting. I don't know, one day this week I was watching YouTube and I was watching a channel that her name's Erica Arndt. I don't know the YouTube channel name, but I actually used to watch her for sewing videos when I did Reese's quilt. Mm-hmm. I think it was her, but I have watched her channels before, but she did some crochet hook reviews, and she did this one. She did like the Prim. She did another I don't know if it was recrochet, but and then the Susan Bates and the Bowie Boyle. I don't know, something else. And these were her favorites as well. She found, based on the price, the closeness of the thumb rest to the hook was great, and something else, like whatever she was using, but these were her favorite hooks as well. So that's my granny stripe blanket.
It's really pretty.
It will be
the colors are like really cool. The process looks really cool.
Yeah, and it's just going to be when I don't know what I want to knit.
Right.
Or when I don't know, when I don't know what I want to work on, I have those projects to help me, because it is really frustrating when you maybe don't have the motivation to work on any of your other projects, but you want to work on something and you don't have something that you could just pick up. That's where, sometimes we run into the issue with 1,000 whips, because I don't want to work on any of this. I'm going to cast something else on. I'm lucky enough to have 2 projects where I could just pick up and say, I want to knit. I don't know what I want to knit on. I don't want to knit on this sweater or this hat or the socks. Here, let me just grab a blanket and go.
Yeah. Great.
So that's that.
Cool. Let's see. I'm going to save that one for after, because I have some questions and some advice that I might need. So.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is my Jelly Roll blankets by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears. I got a lot of inspiration from Kevin when he's doing his. Let me pull up the pattern. This is the Jelly Roll blanket. I'm sure you've seen this all over the place. A lot of people have been doing this or have done this. It's a really great way, obviously, to get through your scraps. I am doing a DK version, and I changed. So I finished. Let me show you. I finished my first strip. So here we are with the first one. So it's about 65 inches long. I was here last time we chatted about it. So I finished off this mini skein, moved into this one. I'm not quite sure. I don't remember what this one is. It doesn't really matter. But and then I added the second row. or the second stripe, whatever. So I struggled a little bit because I know a lot of people have suggested, and Kevin is doing the join recommended by Kay Lytton from the Crazy Sock Lady. And I had not set up my rows to do that version. So I said, well, I'm just going to do the version that the pattern calls for. And I was doing that, and I was not happy with the join because it like on one side of the join, like so you have your slip stitches, say like your slip stitch column. On one side there was a big like bump out of the color before, so you could see like in the little valley there was like a whole different.
That's how mine is.
Yeah, I did.
It has two.
I didn't like that.
It's supposed to have on one side you have the color from your previous row or previous strip, and then so you always have two.
So I wasn't a fan of that. So I said, let me see if I can figure out my own method to just have the slip stitches of the color that I'm using that I'm joining. And that's what I did. So this is my version. So you can just see the plain slip stitch column. Nothing really like bumps out there. It's still the same color of the new yarn. And it's just even straight down. So in order for me to do this, I tried a couple of different things, and I found that when I'm joining the yarn, I am slipping the last stitch knitwise, and then picking up the bar here from the next row, knitting those two together through the back loop, and then on the row next to it is slipping that stitch over purlwise, and then continuing on the pattern. So it's really just the join is a little bit different for me, just because I don't know what it was. I don't know why it bothered me so much that night to see like that extra big bump, but I really was just looking for a pretty seamless like slip stitch column. And so that's what I found. I did a couple of different things, tried slipping stitches in a different way. But I think it looks really nice. I think it looks really nice and smooth.
Yeah.
Between. So again, that's what I did. I slipped that stitch knitwise, and then knit that with the yarn in between the little like that little piece of yarn there. Mm-hmm. Knit those together through the back loop, and then slipped that first stitch from the first row.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm excited, that took me a while to kind of figure out that's just it was my own preference. I mean, obviously I like the look of this too, and, there's something there too, so.
Look at this person's.
I know, I was just looking at that.
I haven't seen this one. Look at this person's jelly roll blanket. That's so super pretty. Intentional. It's really, really pretty, and it's really well thought out. Yeah.
So mine is not intentional at all, really. No. I'm just grabbing from my bag, and this is basically my bag that I'm using. We usually keep all of our leftover yarn, and I'm sure if you've been here for a while, you know what that yarn was? It was Ken yarn.
Yeah.
Half baked. So we usually put a plastic bag with the yarn band and the leftovers in the plastic bags. That's usually how we store our yarn. And
then we get to reuse the bags once we're done.
And then we reuse the bag. Yes, exactly. When it's done. So that's why you see all those bags in there, because it's really all leftover yarn right now from other projects. It's been a lot of fun. And I'm using a 3mm hook. 3mm needle. And for my version, I don't know what it calls for in the DK version of the pattern. But for my version, I did 20 stitches across.
Yeah, I think that's what it calls for.
Oh.
All right, so we'll talk about mine now too. So I've made some progress on my jelly roll. I'm doing a fingering weight version. of just scraps. So last you saw I was here on strip 4.
Oh, it looks so good.
And now I am here.
Wow, you made a ton of progress.
On strip 5. So I finished strip 4 with this yarn and then I had more, so I started this
smart.
with it. Mm-hmm. I think that's the second time I've been able to do that. And then we've added this color.
This looks like a little fade.
This one, cool, and then this one. And I'm currently using all of Ray's leftovers from his Yarn Cafe creation and Dragon Horde Yarn
Advent.
I
think it was Harry Potter year 5.
Yeah, this is all the yarn that he used in the Brioche Adventure wrap from Jonathan Tallow. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to work through this, and then I'll move on. I have a huge bag. It's my Tanny Casey bag, full of plastic bags with minis in it. I've actually started combining them since I know that they're going to be used in the blanket, just so that I could grab one of those bags from it and have it available, because that bag is no longer working to carry the yarn and the project. So the project, now that Albert's done, the project will move into this bag. Oops. Is this Paradise Island? Yeah, my Paradise Island bag. So we'll live in here, the actual blanket, and then I'll have the yarn that I'm currently using in there, and then I have my big bag of all the minis that I'll be working from. And what I have decided is I will probably weigh out minis, and any that are over 10 grams, I'll just wind off 10 or less to use. Just probably a random number between like 5 and 10 grams. I'll just, there we go.
Snip, I love that.
And then this is what I'll use. And then this way I have some more for future projects, like scrappy projects. And I'm using some DPNs. These are Knit Picks Dreams, or Knitter's Pride Dreams, rather. And I think I'm using a 2.75 millimeter. I'm not quite sure because it's rubbed off. And yeah, I'm also following the join from Kayla and I'm slipping my I'm slipping the last stitch of every row so I get a nice edge with the V's so that it's easier for me to pick up. Because then I'll pick up these V's instead of a V in a garter.
In between the garter.
Yeah, I just found this to be easier to do.
Yeah.
So that's
the wonders of knitting, right? Like you really can make any pattern your own.
So I have one more.
I do too.
Okay.
I'm down to one last one as well.
Okay.
This one, we talked, Kevin mentioned it on the last podcast that he had seen the Jethro cardigan by Tanis Laverly. Of Tanis Fiber Arts. She created a sweater pattern, which was granny squares. We had kind of talked about potentially crocheting and knitting it because it's a combination piece for you have it?
Yeah.
For Flock, when we go down to Flock. And I don't know if you guys had chance to watch our friends over at Fiber Hustle, but they are going to be vending down in Flock. So we're going to be hanging out with them, hopefully hanging out with all of you guys. Flock is in August. And because it's now moved locations to inside, and it'll be heavily air conditioned, we felt like this would be a really cool pattern to wear. Like usually in August, I think at a festival or whatever, kind of don't wear sweaters very often.
You would wear socks if you wanted to wear like a hand knit. Socks would be the way to go. Shorty socks for sure.
Yeah, toeless shorty socks. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. So anyway, long story short, we decided that yes, we are definitely going to be doing that for Flock. Kevin and I chose some colors from Knit Picks. We decided on the Cotlin from Knit Picks, which is the cotton linen blend. And it is DK weight. It's 70% cotton, 30% linen. I don't know what Tanguis cotton means. You can look that up, or I'm sure somebody knows. It is very affordable, and the idea is you crochet a bunch of granny squares. You have like a main color that you would join them all together in a like in this kind of like pullover. You'd be able to seam everything up. You knit the sleeves, knit the collar and like button band, and then the ribbing. So I think I chose 5 colors, 6 colors technically. And I'm going to need, and this is where I would like some of your advice. So the colors that I chose, I'll show you those first, and then I'll show you how they come together. So I was planning on just black for my join round and the majority of the sweater. I thought, black sleeves. I might stripe the sleeves, actually. I was thinking about striping the sleeves with whatever I have left over. But black for the in-between each square and the button band and ribbing. So this is Kotlin DK weight. And every one of these is a 50-gram skein or ball of yarn. It's 123 yards. So I got black. I got this color called Carrera. I got this one, which is Gosling. Isn't that pretty? Mm-hmm. This was probably my favorite. This is Rocket.
Yeah, that's a good gray.
Isn't that such a good gray with like a blue undertone? And I got Copper. I think it's Copper. Yep. Copper, just for like a little pop in there. And the last one is Wallaby. So with all of them combined, this is what I got. So here, and I think that these look really cool together. I really, really do. Yeah. So I have a couple of things. Number one, the because of the nature of the sweater and how it's put together. And Tanis actually has a video about the sweater, talking about how she had to choose her sizes for it, because depending on the size that you are trying to crochet or knit, whatever, it's both, crow knit, the size that you're trying to crow knit, you make a certain number of squares in all differing, like in the different gauge. So for example, say I'm just making these numbers up in my head, but for size A, like the first size, you may need 60 squares at a 4-inch gauge, 4-inch squares, 60 like 4-inch squares. For like the middle size, you might need 30 squares at 50 inch or 5 inch. Okay. So for my size, the recommended gauge is 5-inch squares, including that joining round, which is that black. Well, this, because I'm a very loose crocheter and I'm using the recommended crochet hook, which is, I believe, an F hook. Yeah, it's an F 3.75 millimeter crochet hook. This square is 7 inches. So I have a lot of, it's very airy and it's way too big. But I like the fabric. Like, look how cool that is. I like the fabric, I like the airiness of it, and I like the drape. I wanted to use all 5 of my colors together, but then I said, you know what, let me just see if I can shorten it down to like maybe 3 colors in each square. I'll try that, but I like the gauge or the fabric I was getting. So then I tried it with only 3 colors, which is still nice. Mm-hmm. But it's a little too small. It's like 4 and some inches. I probably could block it out if I wanted to. So that's an option.
What was the option of adding in a 4th color there? And then
it would have been too big.
4th color with then your joining round would have been over 5 inches.
Correct.
Okay.
So then I said, well, I'm obviously a very loose crocheter, so let me change my hook size. And I actually went down quite a bit. This is to a 2.5 millimeter crochet hook from a 3.75 millimeter crochet hook. So it's a significant, you can see it's significant difference. And it was a little bit more difficult to work with this. However, with the 5 colors and the joining square, like stripe, I was able to get my gauge. So I can have my cake and eat it too, right? Because, or eat my cake and have it too, whatever the version is. I do know that I don't like these 2 colors together next to each other.
Agree.
But so they look nice when they're...
Do you know what's interesting is from here...
But so different, like...
Right.
Here, right?
But from here, those 2 next to each other, it looks like the same color on screen.
Yeah, and it's totally... They're not.
Right. So that's...
Yeah, but just they can't be next to each other.
No, they can't.
Yeah. But anyway, so my point is, I got gauge finally, and using all 5 colors... And my only concern was that the square is a lot denser, obviously, than that one.
Yep.
By a good amount. However, this has linen in it, and like after it's, and it's still like you still have a drape. Like it's not.
I feel like that one looks
nicer,
cleaner.
Me too.
Than, not that this one doesn't.
I think this one looks beautiful.
I think it's the color,
the way that the colors are together.
I think it's the color combination. So what I would do before, this is me personally, if I were you, before I made a decision, I would do this color combo in that size and see, because is it the color combination here that you like, or is it really the drape? Like, yes, this is drapey, but you're also going to be adding knitting to it, so it could... You want your knitting and your crochet... Your gauges are going to be different, but you want the fabric that you're creating to be very similar.
Yeah.
So what I would do, I would recommend doing that gauge in this color palette, see if you still like it, but I would also knit a swatch to get your gauge.
I will knit a swatch.
Knitting.
Yes, of course.
So that just to see what the knitted fabric would feel like, the drapiness of it.
Well, it does call for knitting a gauge swatch as well.
Right.
So I will certainly do that.
But I would do that. I would do that and see what it feels like prior to making any decisions.
So initially, if I do go with this, which I'm leaning towards,
I really think you should,
because it does look cleaner, and I'm able to use all 5 of the colors. I initially for it's going to be hard to say without giving away things. I guess it doesn't really matter. For my size, I would need to make 36 of these squares for the whole pattern, which is easy, right? That shouldn't take too long. So my initial thought was I have 5 colors, and we're not counting the black. So I have 5 colors other than the black. I was going to do 7 squares in each like color combination. So that would get me 35 squares with the 5 colors. So like I would have 7 squares in this motif, right? And then I would have 7 squares with, say, like this as the center color, like whatever it is. But now looking at these 2 together, I don't want to have that. So I'm going to have to redo my math. Also, maybe do like 8 squares or something and just eliminate this color combination where these 2 are like next to each other. And I don't want to put them next to each other here either. So I think I'm a little bit limited.
I actually don't think you might be. So remember, and I don't know if you plan on doing this, the sweater itself, in my opinion, on a male's body is probably going to look too short because there is no structure at the shoulder. Your back is going to hang a little bit lower too. So I feel like I would, to kind of change that, adding an additional row at the bottom to make it a little bit longer. So then you would be adding 1, 2, 3, 4, let's say maybe 9 additional
squares.
So then you would go from 36 to 45. And then if you then do your math that way, so maybe,
because another option is, so another reason why I wanted to do that is because obviously I'm using a teeny bit of this copper for this square. So in order to, and I got 2 skeins each of each color. So in order to make that like extend, to last, to get me enough, I felt like I needed to break it up evenly so that I'll use the same amount of yarn of each color.
Right.
If that makes sense. So I don't know. Or I can just get extra skeins of these colors if this is my favorite motif. Like, why can't I just have
you could do the full
sweater like that?
Yeah.
Because I really love how these all go together.
Yeah.
And I just added the black on this morning. Because I wasn't sold on it, but I really love the black next to that like grayish blue, and I think it ties it all together. So here's what I would like to know from you all in TV land. Number 1, should I, or do you think it's too boring if I do like this color palette, this color scheme, whatever, the same square everywhere? I think that's really my question now. Because I think I'm going to go with this size. It'll be a lot easier. And even if it's a little bit bigger, like even if it stretches out a little bit bigger after soaking it, like the linen maybe might relax a little bit. It'll give me a little bit of more positive ease on it.
Yeah.
But will that be too boring?
I personally feel like you should do multiple colors combinations. I like your thought. And as we're sitting here talking, I'm scrolling through the projects, and I don't see any, and not saying that you can't do it, I don't see any that are the same. I actually see people who have done a lot of different things, even looking at it. So I do think that having multiple color options would be nice, because what ties it in is the black.
I know. Or like, who cares how many of each color combination I have? Like, even if I just have one color combination, like,
I mean, not for nothing, I have extra colors too that I'm not even using, that you could even throw in and set it off.
Like, I can do whatever I want. Like, I just don't like these. I know for a fact I do not like these two together.
They're two, because both of these are like, they're a taupe, right? These are a gray. This is gray. This is taupe, but together.
But they're significantly different when paired
with a darker color.
Because these are those two.
Right. So you have this in between them.
Yep.
It's
and
clear.
that makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
If they're
here,
up.
Like this.
I think if any of them, break it up, it'll probably look different. They just cannot be next to each other.
Yeah, because it would look really nice with that in between them too. So
all right. So I think I answered my own question. Then I'm going to go with this size, and I'm gonna do a bunch of different color combinations, just knowing that I cannot have those two together. Well, great. Thanks all so much for your help. This is why we do the podcast, to have that live interaction with all of you. I heard what you're saying through the screen and in the future. So thank you all for your lovely advice. And for the one who said you hate everything about it, we all have our own ways of doing things, and keep your comments to yourself.
Such a jerk. All right.
So that's that. I feel a lot better talking that through, because I was kind of like, oh man, what do I do? So I will do that. You know what I might try to do? What I might do though, because I might find a hook size a little bit bigger than this, just to see. And if it's a little, it's hard to look at how teeny.
I would go up one size.
That's what I just said.
That's what I said yesterday too.
I don't remember what you said. Ever.
I know. You don't pay attention to me.
Kidding. Of course I do. I think that's all I have to say about anything, really. All
right. So I have one more whip. This is an oldie. I don't know when it was started. I don't know where it's been. Apparently it's been on vacation. It's been backtracking through Europe. But
I forgot its passport, so we can't keep track.
Yeah, it made its way home, and I'm like, oh, look at you. I'll work on you now. This is Living in My Leg Are Sewn and Hide and Hammer collab bag.
Oh, Jesus. That's a great bag.
This is my ginseng cardigan from the Moon and Turtle book.
Oh, it's so good.
And it's just, it's been away. It's been on vacay, and now it's out. So here is where I am. I don't even know where I was last time you guys saw it, but the body was done. The sleeves have been done. I will say I'm going to go back.
Ooh, it smells very sheepy.
Yeah, this smells like I just got this.
Wow, like you rolled in the barn with
absolutely
the goats.
So these cuffs are double knit. And I don't have a lot of experience with double knitting, so I didn't weave in my ends prior to seaming. So I'm going to undo my seam and redo those. But that's for another day.
But you could just weave it in between. Like this creates a
double knit fabric. Like this,
yeah.
I started doing this before. I have to take that out. So I started doing a weave and Steven. That was silly.
Oh.
So that's got to come out. But whatevs. And now I'm on...
I cannot tell you how strong of sheep smell this
is. Blows my mind. When I took this out, I was like, holy crap. This is the same yarn that you're using for your dad's sweater.
Why does it smell like a sheep? My dad's sweater doesn't smell like a sheep.
So this is the Knit Picks Eco Wool. This is in the solids, and it's the Aran weight version.
Wow.
So I finished the collar, or part of it. The collar's knit in 3 pieces to get this sporty stripe here.
It's so pretty.
So I've knit the half of it. I did my double knitting. I woven the ends correctly. I did the weave and Steven here too, and I had to take it out. So I believe why I put this down is that I made a mistake with my double knitting. I did too many rows.
Mm-hmm.
I think. So just put it down. I was like, oh, I got to take a bunch back. I just ripped out a little bit from one of the rows. Like half of the row I took out. And then continued on. And I'm going to deal with it. And I have to just figure out picking up along this seam. Because my stitch count's now going to be different. So I have to figure that out a little bit to just make sure it looks right. I don't want it to be all like janky. And then I have the pockets to pick up and do. And I tried to read the instructions for that, and it didn't make any sense, so I'm going to watch the video. But it's going to be, again, an oversized cardigan, and I'm using the recommended needle sizes, which are a US 8, a US 6, and a US 5. That is a 5 millimeter, 4 millimeter, and a 3.75 millimeter. The other thing that we ran into is that I ran out of yarn. So we had to buy another skein of this. So my main color is Wordsworth. Then this is one of the other colors. I think this one's pretty much bare. I'm going to have a ton of this left over.
Yeah.
And then this is the third color, which there's not much contrast between these two when they're right next to each other.
But when you have them here in the stripe, it looks great.
So let's see if we can figure out what those are. So we got Wordsworth, and Wordsworth. That's all I know. I don't know what the other two colors are. Their tags are missing.
Great.
I think. Wait, there's a pocket. Do you know, maybe they're in the pocket? No. So, yeah, that's nice.
That's nice.
No, it's actually been super nice to work on this again. I have a lot of whips. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier, where when I don't know what I want to knit on and I don't want to focus on this particular project, I go and I cast something else on. Or especially if I'm made an error and I need to fix it, I need to be in the right frame of mind to fix that. And so then it goes in a bag and then I forget about it. So that's kind of like my thing, right? So I just pulled this out when you and I went through our whips and like try to organize things. I said, I'm just going to start pulling a thing out of here, working on it. Once it's done, and then go and grab something else out, some really old whips, and just start trying to bang those out. Because it can get overwhelming, and that in itself could bog you down and prevent you from knitting when you see all of your whips.
It can. So it can be a little overwhelming.
It's a little bit of finding that balance.
Yes.
So yeah, there are a lot of things I want to knit on. I want to cast on another sweater, but I'm not allowing myself until I finish that one. But I have like 3 or 4 sweaters that I would love to be working on right now. And it's just I really want to get an old whip done before I jump into something new. So that, ladies and gentlemen, are all the projects that we have been working on this week, last 2 weeks. So
and
now
it's quite a bit.
Oh, before we get into...
But that's okay.
Owl Post and that other thing. What's that? Breaking the Bank.
Breaking the Bank.
Let's talk about some yarn dyeing, shall we?
Yes.
One of these is going to be quite a story. We are going to go on a journey together. So first, we're going to talk... I just put some of the colors that you know back in the shop. I dyed up a small batch of It's Fall Y'all, even though we're in spring. I know, but I was out, and I figured... I've been trying to restock all of the fingering weight variegated in speckles. So dyed up some of this. This is Frozen Grasshopper, and this is the newer version of it, the more saturated one. Love it. And for those of you who don't know what a Frozen Grasshopper is, Ray and I used to go to this coffee shop in Milford called Last
Drop
Coffee Shop. And we used to order a Frozen Grasshopper, and it was a mint and chocolate coffee beverage.
Frozen coffee.
Frozen. So that's kind of where the idea of this came from. And this has the chocolatey brown. You have a very light green. You get some dark greens, and then where they hit, and I don't know, sometimes where they hit, you get this really beautiful green, and then there's some kind of greeny blue speckles in there. So this is Frozen Grasshopper. Then... this is new, and this one is called Violet Meadow.
Oh, it's so pretty.
I just needed something to dye, and I mixed a magenta and a blue together to make this purple. I left a bunch of white in here, and I speckled it with some green, a dark green. I had a colorway, again, and you'll see this theme probably in the coming weeks too, is just going back and looking at old colors. So I did something like this a really long time ago with a color, with a dye powder from Dharma. I think either the lilac or hyacinth.
Yeah.
And then, just straight out of the jar, dissolved in water, and poured it over the yarn. So in thinking of doing it again, I was like, oh, let's do this. And I love this purple so much. I'm going to try to make a tonal out of that. Because I really like that purple. And then I have to make a decision about this color. So this is but isn't. Bless you.
Thank you.
Is but isn't Florals for Spring Groundbreaking. So there is... it's more saturated than the original version. There's much more dye in it. And the reason is I know the 5 colors that are used in this. I just don't recall what strength or what depth of shade they are. So what I did this time around is I went through and used the same depth of shade for all of them to see if that's what it was. And it's pretty accurate with the exception of this green. This green is very overpowering in this version. So I have to decide if I'm keeping this to make it easier to dye or if this is just going to be a one-of-a-kind version of it. And then, because you get this bit of the magenta in here, or this red, which is beautiful. You have a very light blue, 2 different shades of purple, and then where they mix, you get some of the darker purples, like down here. You get some really nice dark purple and some darker greens. You get a really beautiful dark red too. So this one I have to see. So I didn't put this in the shop yet. I have to mess with those. And now we're going to do a color story. Okay?
Okay.
So one day I woke up and I was like, hey.
Wow, you're telling a Ray story.
I wanted to dye a colorway called Pistachio Brittle. It's very selfish. I have a little frozen dessert downstairs called Pistachio Brittle, which I love. And I did dye a colorway a long time ago called like Pistachio Cream. And that again was using the pistachio dye powder from Dharma straight out of the container. So I decided to challenge myself and see if I can come up with my own pistachio color using cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. So I went to this website called Coolors. It's Coolors. And that's what I use to get the hex codes for color. So I put in, I wanted to see what pistachio would look like. And this is what it gave me. And I took the information from there, put it in my spreadsheet to determine how to get that. So I went to go dye the first batch. And I was silly and I wrote down all the wrong numbers. But I came up with this colorway, which I actually quite like. So this is called Silver Eucalyptus.
I love it.
So it's a very silvery green and there are some blue speckles in there. You can see. Very, very lightly speckled. Not overpowering. So this is Silver Eucalyptus. Then I realized my error and I tried it again. And I got this dark green here. So I was like, okay, what can I do with that? And I speckled it with a very bright green. And I also blended in some of that bright green. So this
it's
one,
so good too.
Yeah, this will probably be a one of a kind. I don't know what I'm going to name it yet. And then I think, and I'm going to pat myself. I was pretty impressed with this version of it. This is Pistachio Brittle. And I feel like it's pretty, like, spot on with that color. Like, it's pretty close. This one's a little muddier, maybe, or a little more yellow. But I was super pleased with this. And what I love with the speckles in it, back in my day, when we used to walk to school in 12 feet of snow.
Uphill
both ways.
Yeah.
Do you remember when there were the pistachios that were covered in the red? Like, the shells were red, the pistachios were red, your fingers would get stained red.
Nope.
So unnatural. Probably like 5 million preservatives. Not healthy at all, but I used to love that type of pistachio. And that kind of reminds me of it, but also it reminds me of my pistachio brittle bar.
It looks just like it.
So love that. So these are 3 new colorways in the shop. These 2 have yet to make it. They'll be in there soon. I just have to make a decision on this. And I think this one will be a one of a kind. I could replicate it, but I have a lot of greens. And then we have It's Fall Y'all and Frozen Grasshopper in the shop.
Frozen Grasshopper, I can go for one of those.
I sure can. If they were open.
Oh my goodness.
Still, I would get there. All right. And then, well, staying in that same kind of needles at the ready yarn. Our lovely friend Carrie, she had.
I learned that this isn't how how you make it hard anymore.
We're not.
Didn't Chip say that?
Yes, Chip said the young kids are doing some weird thing. I can't do. That looks like no, I can't.
I don't know what they're doing.
It looks more Kingdom Hearts, right?
Maybe it's a heart with a crown on it.
Maybe. So Carrie had this yarn and she said we can use this as a sample. She knit up a Zorzel shawl.
It's so good.
Out of Inkblot and Wild Orchid, which Inkblot is currently in the shop on
so
BFL.
This is Inkblot.
This one's Inkblot.
Yep.
It's a navy with a slight purple hue to it. And then this is Wild Orchid, a very bright fluorescent-y pink. This one I don't have yet in the shop. I'll be dyeing it this upcoming week. Actually, I think I need to order more yarn.
So good,
but they're so good together.
Yeah.
This is such a beautiful pattern. If you guys have not knit a Zorzel, I would highly recommend it. Based on Carrie's recommendation, I did knit one, and I loved knitting it. I have it somewhere. Oh, it's downstairs. I knit that out of Ghost Water and something else. Oh, and Twilight. So yes, this is Inkblot and Wild Orchid. So thank you, Carrie. And this will be a sample, but it'll go back to her.
Yes. She said we can keep it for as long as we'd like.
Yes.
It's good.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And now we have Owl Post.
Owl Post. All right.
So we got a few things. We were very generously sent a couple things. So first was a gift for me because of my the issues that I was having with my wrist and my arm crocheting. One of you lovely viewers sent me my own set of Clover Amour hooks. One's missing because I'm using it, the pink one, the 3.5 millimeter. So yeah, they go from a 2.5 millimeter or a B up to a
2.25.
I'm sorry, 2.25, which is a B, up to a J, which is a 6 millimeter. So it comes with 10 total sizes in here, and they're really nice to work with.
They are.
Oh, that person holds it like a pencil too.
A lot of people hold it like a pencil, but I can never do that.
Maybe I'll try.
You should. Absolutely. Maybe that'll work for you. Cool. So that was really sweet.
Yes. So thank you very much.
Next is Tara from Fox and Pine sent us some new products. Fox and Pine are the folks behind the
Do I have them here?
The beautiful stitch stoppers that I have on every single one of my projects, except for the projects that that I brought upstairs.
So here's
so
one.
Good.
It's actually...
So we have a round zipper pouch that we keep them in. So they just created a square version of that, which is super cool. Silicone.
Yeah. And
you can
you can put them in. You can put any notions
put anything in here.
And
what's cool is it has this little strap thing, but you can put it on the end of a bag.
Right, so
So
you would do something like... I'm trying to say...
Here, do it on an actual strap of a bag. And there you go. And it just kind of hangs out with you, so that you can use it as a notions pouch or, really whatever you want.
Put potato chips in here if you get hungry. A little
great
snack.
idea.
Just open it up.
Werther's Original? Yeah.
Cheez-Its would go well in here.
Just don't put notions in after you put the Cheez-Its
Right.
in there. But yeah, super fun.
But they've also made something or released something for all of your notions.
Yes.
Like a really good storage solution for your needle stoppers, but you can use this for all notions, I feel like.
100%. So this is held together by magnets. Opens up this way and again this way, and you have 8 different compartments, 7 different compartments, one large one down the bottom here, which has her this is called the Notion Nook, the ultimate on-the-go Notion organizer. So yeah, put your little thing of scissors there, tapestry, or your measuring tape, couple of different, stitch markers, anything that you want.
Your stitch stoppers.
Yeah. And it's held together by a magnet, so no muss, no fuss. Super easy to open. I don't know how many colors they come in.
You know what it reminds me of? And then on the other side, you have little logo, which is super cute. It's very similar in concept, but different from... I don't have mine up here.
I don't either.
We have one that we got a couple years ago from Knit New Haven. I've seen them a lot now online where people use them to put their medications in, and they sell them with the tags. But we put stitch markers. I have my floops in it, and I have some darning needles, and I have something else. Fox and Pine. Let's see how many colors they have.
But it was so cool to and it's very durable.
Super.
Very, very, very durable. Thick plastic. It's definitely not cheaply made at all. Easy to open, easy to close. I love it. This is a Canadian company, I believe.
Yes. Why did it bring me there? Shop,
I don't know.
Notions.
Oh, yeah.
So there are, I believe, 4 colors. So you have the option of blue, pink, purple, or teal. So 4 colors. Yeah, I mean...
Like, here's a picture of... like, all the things that you can put in it.
Yeah, it's just a really another...
Yep.
I think a great storage solution.
Me too. But it's also, like, it's a good shape, too. You know?
Yeah.
They're $22, which is definitely worth it.
All right. And
so thank you very much, Tara. That was amazing.
Yes, thank you.
I appreciate that so much. Now we can use them since we've shown them.
And then last up is our Break in the Bank section.
Yes.
So I will just go through mine really quick. I also bought some cotton for the Jethro.
So my Jethro was part of Breaking the Bank, my yarn.
So I got indigo bunting. Some of these are just to see how I like them together. This is sagebrush. Raindrop. Planetarium.
Oh, this is pretty.
This is my main color, Wallaby.
Mm-hmm. That's in mine as well.
Clarity.
Yep.
So that's 1, 2, 3. I think I got... Oh, this...
You got one more.
Yeah, one more. Because I couldn't decide. And then this is Beach Glass.
Yeah.
So...
Oops. So all, like, really nice blues.
Yeah, with the exception of the 2 greens, I feel like...
Yeah.
I may use them all to give me more options. I'm not sure, but...
Pretty.
Yeah, so those are the colors I'm going to work with. I haven't attempted to do any gauge swatching or anything yet. So that was my purchase.
Lovely.
You are up.
All right. So this came in from local yarn shop day. Hope Made Yarn Co. Had a signature colorway or special colorway for that day at Skane Yarn Shop. I put in a pre-order and it arrived shortly after, like pretty much the day after we recorded our podcast or something like that. So it's been sitting downstairs for a while. It's beautiful. It's on Jojo's favorite. Sorry. Jojo's favorite. It's 75% fine superwash merino, 25% recycled nylon. It's a 4-ply, and the colorway is Wild Tulips. It's based off of some tulip fields that she came across. It's absolutely stunning.
And there are tulip fields in Rhode Island.
Yeah, beautiful. So this is that, and I got a really nice sticker from Skein Scoop Podcast. So check them out if you haven't already. And definitely, Hope and Keisha also have a podcast, Pine Barren Knits. Also on YouTube, we'll have those 2 linked down below. What?
Wait, remember, weren't we just watching something that they were in Pine Barrens?
They were in Pine Barrens.
And we're like, oh, that's where Hope and Keisha are.
Yeah. But we're not where Hope and Keisha are.
No, we're in Connecticut.
But it would be nice if we were with Hope and Keisha, too. One day. You know what would be fun? If one day we just showed up at their library, like knitting night, when they're over there having like a little knitting circle.
Okay, we'll work on that.
Okay, we'll work on that. They're doing some like hiking thing where they're pulling out of a hat, like
why
trails that people unlike us, people do hike on purpose. So anywho, whatever. Love everybody. This is Hope's JoJo's favorite. Hope Made Yarn Co. We'll have that link down below. And Wild Tulips. And I'm going to put the sticker on my iPad cover. Okay, that's that.
I'm done.
Oh, well, we have one last thing. And since Michael from Piece for Piece already ruined it for the world, and I'm not going to have to worry about any spoilers, this is the Woolens and Nosh Mystery Yarn Club for May. The name is the best in the entire world. I am a little bit upset that Michael was the first to say it out loud in the public universe. So here's the color. Like I said, no spoilers because Michael already spoiled it. It's so good.
It is.
Oh my gosh. All right, the colorway It reminds me of some kind of bird, like maybe a house finch. It's the name of the colorway.
So it's really funny. I opened this, I think. I don't know if I did. I think I'm the one who opened it, and I was looking for the colorway name, and I was looking for something short that I totally glanced over that. It didn't pay it any mind. I was like, oh, there's no colorway name on here. No. And then I saw it. I was like, oh, and I love it. Every letter in that name. So cute.
Do you want me to leave it up there just so you can take a little bit longer to read because it's a longer one? And I love it. It reminds me of some kind of bird, like maybe a house finch.
I wonder where it's from. Is that a line in a book or a movie? Good. So that is all of the knitting content. If you don't want to hear about what we've been reading or watching, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And then this we should probably try to go through pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Right?
We have plans between 4 and 5.
Okay. And I have some stuff to do before then. So, we've watched a bunch of stuff, y'all. One day we did a little Planet of the Apes marathon of the newer ones.
Yes.
So we started with Dawn of the Planet. No, that's a lie. Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. And then War of the Planet of the Apes. I enjoyed them.
I liked them a lot.
And so I won't say that because if somebody wants to watch them and they haven't, I don't want to spoil anything, but I did. I enjoyed all of them.
Yeah.
So we did those. And
I thought they were well done. The first one I believe was my favorite.
Yes.
One. I like origin stories.
Correct.
And I think that's probably why I liked it the most. But the other two were very entertaining.
They were. Yeah. They're not going to win an Oscar, but they were entertaining enough.
Yeah, they were.
Like, I would watch them again if, in a couple years if I wanted to throw something on.
Yep.
We also finished watching season 3 of Picard, Star Trek Picard. So we are now all caught up with that. Check. That's off our list. It was really good. It was a good season.
Yeah. For those of you, if you're Next Generation fans, you will, if you haven't seen it, you will love it.
And then...
Very nostalgic.
We watched seasons 1 and 2 of Reacher on Amazon Prime. If you like action television shows, that's a show for you. I enjoyed it. It's really interesting. I like the guy who plays Jack Reacher. He's a beast.
Totally.
Number one,
huge.
He's a mountain.
Yeah.
He's huge. But the character, his lack of empathy, and is actually really funny. And because he just says it. There's no sugarcoating anything. There's no keeping anybody's feelings in mind. There's no tact at all. I don't think. It's just straightforward. It is what it is.
He almost misses those there's no subliminal messaging or not subliminal. There's no I don't know. It's very straightforward. He lacks those not social cues, but kind of if somebody says oh wow, you're hot. He's like, no, it's cool today. Right. Something like that. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
Other than that, but
very literal.
Yeah, very literal.
But very enjoyable. There is a character in there, Neely. I want her to have her own show because I love her so much.
Yeah,
she's one of my faves. Mm-hmm. And then I've just been watching 911 when I can, so I'm still in season 4.
Great. I have not been watching that.
And then reading-wise, I have finished 3 books. I continued on with my Love and O'Leary series from May Archer, so I've finished reading The Secret, The Fire, and The Night. Out of all of those, I loved The Secret. Hold on. Okay, so here we go. The Secret. Characters that we're following are Micah and Constantine. That one is... Remember Spice Levels? Last time we were up at a cayenne. That went a little bit beyond that. That one was spice.
Jalapeno?
Yeah. Actually, all of these kind of were. the last book, The Night, I love that one. There's a little girl in it who's hysterical in this book. So I really did enjoy that series. The series is complete. I did try to read another one of her series. It had one of the characters from The Secret in it, in a different location. It's somewhere in Florida. And I read about... I don't know, I read like 20% of it, and I was like, no, you know what? This one's not for me. So that's done. But I did just start reading An Archer's Awakening by Casey... Is it that copy?
Morale?
I don't know if it's Morales or Morale.
Morales.
This is also a male-male romance, but it is a fantasy novel. So I'm pretty early on in it. I've only read it for the past 2 nights. So it started with like a war, and I don't know the time frame. I'm thinking it was 1,000 years ago. So some woman, there was a war. There's a phoenix who was like an actual... It felt like more of a living being than a creature. And this woman appears to encase herself in a magic orb, and had her lover, she transported him somewhere to keep her safe, and said to wake me whenever. And I feel like we're 1,000 years in the future from that, and not much has happened. I just know that magic is kind of dying. There aren't as many mages being born. Instead, if you don't have magic, they call them a mute, and more people are mute instead of magicians or mages.
Interesting.
So yeah, so far enjoyable.
Cool. I am currently reading... Oh, thanks. I can use yours. Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas. This is book 4 or 5 of the Throne of Glass novels. I'm not sure which one it is, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. So it's actually really good. You never showed me how to link it. Remember, I asked you, and then you ignored me like you usually do. It's very good. We're back now to having separate little storylines, which I'm so invested in this story that I just want them all back together again, and I want to know everything all at one time. So, totally digging that.
But this is the book that people had recommended reading in tandem with the next book because they happen at the same point in time. But you've chosen not to do that.
Yeah, I did. It doesn't
appeal to you.
No, it doesn't. I don't feel like I need to.
Okay.
No rudeness intended. I didn't know that you had to read them in tandem until somebody said that. You wouldn't know. I'm curious. Now I'm curious to read the next book from a different person's perspective that happens at the same time, because we're touching all of the main characters here. So I'm not sure.
Interested to see if they were released at the same time.
Well, we can look at that up at some other point, because I'm moving on to my next book, which is He Who Fights with Monsters, Part 2. I'm listening to that on Audible. And again, it's just as good, if not a little bit better than the first one. I am so sucked into this. It addresses all of my nostalgic gamer heart. And yeah, I will definitely finish the series. And I think there's 7 of them or something like that in the series. So that's what we've been reading and watching. And let's see what else. I think that's it.
So they were released a year apart from each other. So nobody who originally bought them could have done that in tandem, but they happen at the same time, from what people have said. And I think that is everything. What?
Nothing. Thank you for the...
Well, I wanted to know because...
I know. I could tell it was really burning you alive.
No, I just wondered if the author released them to be read that way, because I've seen the same thing on TikTok. Mm-hmm. And that would be a weird way for an author to release it. So, but that's that.
I definitely can't. I only read for
half an hour.
If that, max. There's no way in heck that I would be able to.
That would take you 6 months
forever to read 2 books
to
at the
get
same
through
time.
the 2 of them.
Forget it.
And yeah, I think that's it. And the next couple of weeks should be fairly uneventful. We don't have much going on.
No, we have our niece's recital coming up.
We have the
next
twins' birthday.
week, the twins' birthday, some family stuff.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So thank you guys for joining
us.
We hope that you guys enjoy the next 2 weeks, and we will see you in a fortnight.
Bye.
Bye.